How's it going, guys? So, Starry Eyes from 2014, directed by, let's see if I can get this right, Kevin Coates and Dennis Widmeyer. Well, I've never heard of either of them again, so I don't know if they've done anything. No clue. But I saw this movie when it first came out, and I was pretty impressed by it. Like, there's not a big plot going on here. It's like a little more like style over substance for me, this movie, but it does explore the whole, you know, film industry and what it takes to get in and making pacts with the devil or some cult and stuff like that to get into Hollywood, make it big, be famous. Like all those themes and concepts are explored pretty well in here. So we have Sarah, who's an aspiring actress, and she works at Taters, which is pretty much Hooters, where I come from. Like, she works at fucking Hooters. So she can't find anything better. She's trying to get these gigs and stuff, to acting gigs, and just nothing's panning out for her. She's just stuck miserable in her life with some friends of hers that one of them's a director or producer trying to make his own movie, and they really kind of just go on with their lives too. They don't really sympathize too much with Sarah and everything she's going through. So she just is desperate to make it big at this point in her life. And she finds this call-in audition, for a movie called The Silver Scream by Australia's Pictures. And she ends up getting a call back from them, and her friends are all putting her down and saying, like, what type of movies they make, and like you like don't put everything on this one possibility, and that you could always you can always end up not good and you don't get the job, and then don't get too upset over it, and all that type of shit that people have to deal with in the film industry when they're trying to get gigs. And she has a cool kind of, actually, like, this dream that she has. She has like this dream that she's just like trying to like audition, and she's starting to like stutter and lose her words and not be able to get her lines out. And then like she starts like shaking and trembling and like getting really visibly scared, and then she starts like bleeding like down her face and stuff, and then she wakes up. It's actually decently effective dream sequence, which I don't care for dreams much in film. Like, unless the whole movie like centers around that, like Nightmare on Elm Street, which is going to be covered all month long. And then, would she have gotten picked for her audition, her first audition, when she first walks in and she gives her first performance? So I think she does a pretty good job. Like, but then she leaves, and they say, we'll let you know, which they say to everybody. And she goes running to the bathroom and thinks that she was terrible, and she starts like beating herself up and ripping her hair out and screaming. And then, of course, the female casting agent, she hears this, and she invites her back in and asks her to recreate that whole debacle that she had in the bathroom, like beating the shit out of herself, basically. And so I'm guessing it's mostly just that. Like, it had nothing to do with her first audition. Like, maybe they saw something in her, like qualities of someone they might need or like might want, but like that when she left and then she broke down and stuff, and the woman heard that was like, they're like, all right, wait, if she can do this is someone we definitely want. That's how I've always looked into it. So then they bring her back in, and she recreates her whole tear herself apart stunt and ripping her hair out and screaming on the ground and rolling around, and it's disturbing. Like, it really is. And her performance throughout this movie, the actress who plays Sarah, I think it's Alex something, phenomenal. She gives such a great performance in this. Like, near the end of the movie, this film does kind of like slow down a little bit, and it has a little bit of pacing issues like near the end, but her performance for the most part is just like phenomenal in this. Like, she really carries the film. Like, pretty much the whole movie is her. Like, of course there's other characters and stuff, but her acting is like in the forefront for this whole movie, and she does a great job. And the score is really good in this too. Like, it has like this like just like it fits the title, Starry Eyes. So it sounds like what stars being put in the sky would sound like, pretty much. Like if that makes any sense at all. But like the music just sounds like starry. It sounds like mesmerizing. Like it has a very interesting sound to it. It works very well with the film. And then she ends up getting another call from this company and says that the second time she comes in is going to be a bit different. So she ends up fighting with her boss and stuff and saying that she's getting this audition that looks like it's going to pan out for her, and the boss ends up giving her a lot of shit, but he's not wrong. Like he's really not. Like he's giving her all like the whole spiel and stuff on the fact that I respect that you're trying to be an actress and stuff. I've seen so many of young women and stuff in my life working at this restaurant trying to become actresses, and I see how it fares out for most of them. And you can go look around for jobs and auditions and gigs all you want, but this is your job. Like you have to be here on time. You have to be here at work. Like you have to have your commitment here, and you have to fulfill it. Like regardless of the side stuff, acting stuff that she's trying to get off the ground. And it comes across as him being an asshole. And he is kind of an asshole. Like he kind of is. But he's not wrong. Like he's really not. Like she does have to like pick one or the other. She can't just keep fucking up this guy's business by not showing up or showing up late and like all stuff like that. He's got a business to run. So it's like either you're 100% in or you're out. And she makes her decision. And she ends up leaving. And then they have a line, then she goes to meet with the producer, and it's very creepily shot. Like just the way that the producer talks, the way that he's shot while he's talking, like the angles on him, very, very well done. Like it makes it a very disturbing, tense scene while they're talking and stuff, because you know the direction it's going to head down. Like you know what this guy is really, what's really on his mind. But as it approaches like that, very well done. Like with the feel, with the tone to it, like very, very good. Very good tension there. And he mentions a line and says like, you know who we are, you know what pictures we make. I don't get that. I never have. Are they like known for like certain types of movies that like really launch people's careers, or is he talking about like a specific like what type of genre of movies they make, or like I don't know what that line means. I never did, and if anyone does know, let me know, because I've never got that line. Like what type of pictures they make. All right, well, what type of pictures do they make, and why does it matter to her? I'm assuming it's maybe just that, like that they make big films, or like cheap films that can turn big and to launch people's careers, and they're very good at that. Something like that. That's all I can really think of. And then she has to like fully let go and everything before she can transform into someone new. This whole thing is like being reborn after making a pact with the devil, basically. It's like an age-old tale of selling your soul for the devil. And it's very effective in doing that. And like I said, it's a lot of style in this movie. So like just like the way that the certain scenes are shot, and just the lighting, and just like the mesmerizing dreamlike feel to it, which turns nightmarish pretty fucking fast after she finally like accepts this whole part and everything. But it works for me. Like it always has. Like it's always been a very disturbing watch since the first time I saw it. Kind of reminds me of Excision from 2012 a little bit, which I adore that movie. But like they kind of have a similar feel, kind of like just like a central female protagonist who's kind of fucked up mentally, and then like just kind of what happens to her. Like real simple like way of breaking the plots for both of those down. But like if you've seen both, you know what I mean. But she ends up going to meet the producer for the dinner or whatever. And then he's building her up and everything and saying, "Oh, we need you, like you're amazing," and just building all this poor fucking girl's hopes up and dreams and making her feel like she's the best. And says basically that she has to fuck him, like for the part, or suck his dick, which she ends up doing later. But then she ends up leaving and says that she can't do it, and she gets her job back and hates her life again. And then the friend who's making a movie, he ends up wanting to cheer her up a little bit, so he goes to her and he ends up saying that fuck Australia's pictures, just come be in my movie, and tries helping her out a little bit. He's the most sympathetic, like, out of all of her friends. Like, the rest are kind of like really bitchy to her. Like, I don't get it. I don't know why those are her friends. And this friend, the producer, he lives in a van down by the river. Not by the river, but he does live in a van, and it reminded me of Chris Farley, and I miss Chris Farley. He was so funny. Then he goes back. She goes back to meet the producer after seeing like her friend. I forgot the friend's name, or all of the friends. Like none of them have names in this, and like she sees like one of the female friends like kissing the producer guy. So I guess she had a past with him, or kind of likes him, or something like that. And she ends up going back to meet the producer, ends up sucking his dick or fucking him for the part or whatever it is. Then she just wakes up and she starts deteriorating. And it looks so fucking disgusting. Like, as she keeps deteriorating more and more. Like, her hair starts falling out in patches, and like, fucking, the one part I say it all the time whenever this pops up in a movie, which has been happening more lately, which I'm kind of fucking pissed about. Nothing bothers me, like fulgy eye stuff, nothing. I'm fine with fingernails. Dude, I can't. I fucking hate it. I can't take stuff with fingernails in horror. Seeing a fingernail break off, or being scratched off, or ripped off while someone's trying to claw for help, like, oh, I can't, man. That's like the one thing that gets me in horror, or anywhere that a nail is being ripped off from where it's supposed to be. And in this movie, fucking, like her nail starts falling off, and it's like, oh, dude, it's so fucking disgusting. And she just starts becoming just like this, just hideous looking, bloodied, disgusting fucking woman. And she ends up going and murdering all her fucking friends. Like, she gets a phone call from the producer, and the producer pretty much says, like, you have to either die, because she says, like, I'm dying. And she's like, yeah, you are. You can either die or complete the transformation. Which I'm guessing is just another metaphor for, like, all right, you have to shed your old life completely. So you have to kill all your friends, too. So, like, you have to have no ties to your old life. That's why she quit the job. And that's probably why she kills all the friends here at the end. Or nearing the end and everything like that. That's what I'm guessing. Because it's very ambiguous, this movie. It doesn't really, I mean, it's not like it's so complex of a plot, like you have to really ask these questions, like hardcore, like to get to an answer. But it is left open a decent amount, like certain things in here. And she ends up, the whole scene with her in the kitchen with her friend, the one that like they're constantly fighting back and forth, it's such a tense scene. And it's so cool when she finally turns the lights on and she sees how fucked up Sarah is, and she starts freaking out and gets real nice all of a sudden, like most people do when they're pissed at somebody, and then like they notice something severe is fucking going on with them, and they like completely just lose the real shit and put on the fake little, oh my god, are you okay? Fucking that bullshit. She starts doing that, and then she just gets fucking her cheek. Sarah just slices her cheek open, and her whole cheek fucking is open. It starts bleeding. Looks really, really cool. And then just like starts stabbing the shit out of her to death. Then we get the other friend who's sleeping. This looks so fantastic. Like, she starts taking whatever the fuck that is and smashing their face in, just constantly, just back and forth, bam, bam, bashing their fucking face in until it's mush. It looks fucking great. So good. Love it. Awesome stuff. And then the director guy ends up getting, that friend, he ends up getting stabbed to death too. And then we see a little ritual with all the members of the Strayus film production company and stuff. and they're having a whole ritual, which apparently they're a cult that like celebrates and praises Atreus, which is like the name of a demon or some shit. That's why they named their company that. So they're like, all hail Atreus and shit. So that's like their demon. And Sarah's like in the ground, and like it's like she shed her like mortal coil kind of, or like shed her old self. And then she comes out of the ground, and she has fucking like just perfect skin. She looks absolutely beautiful in every way, like flawless, and she has fucking gorgeous green eyes and like no hair at all. And then like she has like this little box that they leave with her, and she ends up going home, and she ends up like open the box up, and there's like a wig, and she puts the wig on, and then she gets in bed with her friend, like her closest friend, what the hell's her name, Tracy. And she gets in bed with her, and they like apologize to each other, and then like she notices her eyes are all green and shit, and then she gives her a kiss, and then she starts biting like her friend's fucking tongue out, and like her inside of her mouth and shit. She just starts bleeding completely. It looks like she just bit her tongue out, like out of her mouth. And then we see a little necklace that was also given to her by the cult, and it has like a pagan symbol on it, which was also during the ritual on the ground was like a pagan star or symbol and stuff. So implying that she's now in this cult, and that she's going to be beautiful forever and famous and got everything she wanted at the cost of killing all her friends and shedding her old life and going through all that pain and suffering. It's a disturbing movie. Like I said, it's thin on plot, so I mean, damn, 16 minutes is like not fucking long at all for like any normal video on this channel for me. So not a lot to say, but it is very effective. Like I always fucking say, like I trap myself into saying this basically at the end, because I go to say if anyone hasn't, then I have to fucking explain it and say, well, I always say fucking, why watch a spoiler discussion, review, whatever, if you've never seen the movie. But I always fucking trap myself into saying that, and it's so annoying. But people who have seen this, do you enjoy it? What were your thoughts when you first saw it? Have you ever returned and rewatched it? Thoughts on the film? It's one I don't hear talked about too often, because I guess it's more of like a psychological thriller, body horror-ish type film, but don't hear it talked about enough. But let me know if you guys like it, if you guys have seen it, and I'll have more videos up later today, into tomorrow, then the next day. You know how it goes. Take care.